Good morning, teachers and friends. Today we'll be talking about Beethoven, Schiller, and Ode to Joy.
Beethoven's Ninth Symphony in D minor Opus 125 is regarded as one of Beethoven's greatest works, and one of the supreme achievements in the history of Western music. It premiered on May 7, 1824 in Vienna, and conducted by Kapellmeister Michael Amloff. It was performed by a large orchestra made up of Kartentor's House Orchestra, the Vienna Music Society, and a selected group of capable amateurs. While no complete list of premier performers exists, many of Vienna's most elite performers are known to have participated. Today, it stands as one of the most performed symphonies in the world.
The fourth movement specifically is largely based on the ode N.D. Freud by German poet and playwright Friedrich Schiller in 1785. N.D. Freud, translated to Ode to Joy, is a fairly straightforward poem, and on its own, it endeavors to create a feeling of and appreciation for the emotion of joy within the reader. Although I'm not sure whether Beethoven knew Schiller personally, this collaboration between artists from different art forms also reflects one of the characteristics of music from the Romantic era.
Beethoven wrote this symphony just after the defeat of the French armies in 1815. This piece of music expresses the voice of revolutionary optimism. It represents the voice of a man who refuses to admit defeat, whose head remains unbowed in adversity. Additionally, when he started composing the Ninth Symphony in 1822, Beethoven had already been completely deaf for 6 years. Furthermore, he had just endured a humiliating legal wrangle to gain custody of his nephew, the only child of the three Beethoven brothers, Carl van Beethoven, in 1820. Through all this, Beethoven persevered and had faith in himself. The message of the final choral movement is unambiguously, all men shall be brothers. This is Beethoven's final message to humanity, is one of hope and defiance. This message has continued to be relevant through the ages.
Beethoven's Ninth Symphony was considered entirely new and revolutionary in the music world. Musicologists today can only guess how impacted and shocked the audience was during its premiere in 1824. All we can say for sure is that it was received well by an overwhelmingly enthusiastic audience who produced great roarings after the symphony was played. Beethoven was so touched by this reaction that he bowed down to the audience and began to cry. One example of how significant this piece was is that in 1972, the Council of Europe made Beethoven's Ode to Joy its official anthem, and in 1985, the European Union did the same.
Beethoven's Ninth Symphony was also well received that it took Brahms 14 years to complete his next symphony, because he felt that the need to live up the expectations that Beethoven's Ninth Symphony created. In the finale of Johann Brahms Symphony No. 1 in C minor, the main theme is related to Ode to Joy, to the Ode to Joy theme from the last movement of Beethoven's Ninth Symphony. When this was pointed out to Brahms, he is reputed to have retorted, "Any fool can see that." Brahms' First Symphony was at times both praised and derided as Beethoven's 10th.
Lastly, what makes Beethoven's Ninth Symphony a romantic piece? Focusing on the finale movement, there are chromatic notes in the brass section, which shows how it was written in the Romantic era, as the vowels were only adapted to produce chromatic notes during the Romantic era. Additionally, there is great emphasis on the melody in this piece, which is showcased in the largely homophonic texture of this piece. Furthermore, there is a section of the fourth movement that is polyphonic and then transitions into a homophonic texture. This is done by Beethoven to place even more emphasis on the main theme.
There is also great contrast in tone color, dynamics, textures, and times. Examples of these can be found on the Vanguard sheet. Additionally, since the work's premiere, there has been an unceasing scholarly debate about the form of such massive, truly unprecedented creation. It is no surprise that it incorporates elements of variation, rondo, sonata, and concerto forms. As previously mentioned, this work is also involve collaborations between artists of different art forms. Thank you.
okay, I don't think we need to retake. We can say